Yeah, they've certainly done their job today with that 2-0 win. Does it feel we're at that stage where every drop point is going to be decisive?
Oh, definitely. Obviously, with the points gap and the game's pretty much in Arsenal's favour in regards to City having to win, having to beat them in the coming fixture. But City are playing well. The rhythm's there, as I said, the complete performances. Pep's touched on how he likes the spirit of the squad, and he knows best what that should look like and what should feel like. And as I said, it's easier for us to cast judgment from outside here, but it's a hard task to keep motivated for a number of seasons and to keep this level of performance up.
And Bernardo Silva spoke there about that run from Phil Foden to open the scoring. Just how well did Foden play today?
Yeah, I thought he answered any kind of negativity that's been kind of thrown at him in the press in the last few weeks. He's got his tally up again. He's in double figures. He's a phenomenal talent, but it's about putting it out there consistently, and I think he's come back with a bit between his teeth. Bernardo mentioned injuries there. He's back. He's a clean bill of health now. But here he notices the run outside from De Bruyne, and he just commits defenders. And I think as a defender, they're some of the worst players you want to play against. Players that are willing to drive at you, balance, can go either way, comfortable to with their head up, can pass the ball, but also can run past you. It's a really, really good finish in the end.
How disappointed, Rafa, will Newcastle be in the way they defended this?
I don't think that will be very disappointed because, as Rio say now, you play against a very good, talented player that he can go anyway, and then you have to adapt. We were talking about the position, the midfielder following, or the centre backs, but when you play against top-class players, I was thinking about you have to be worried about the players in the pockets. We have to be worried about the wingers, that they can beat players. So how can you control with 4 defenders? Normally you used to play 5 if you cannot control with 4, and then you are too defensive. So then it's not easy to control the wingers that they commit, the full-backs. It's not easy to defend the pocket. So they cannot cover every single position. So I think that they will analyse that. We were talking about the midfielders following, but they will go late. So if the centre-backs, if they shuffle, then you have to forget about the winger in the other side. But Manchester City, they are capable to switch. And then you have a 1v1 situation in the other side without covering the full-back. So you can be disappointed because you concede goals, but not so disappointed because you concede against top-class players.
I think what Rafa's hit there as well is look at the amount of problems that this City team posed you when you're facing this up and you're trying to sort out your tactics to play and nullify this Manchester City team.
They've got so many weapons. Out, another one
yeah, there's so many weapons in this team.
When I was playing, if you play with Liverpool against this team and then you have energy, you can do something. When I was the manager of Newcastle United, so you have to close so many gaps. Then you have wingers here, you have the players in the pocket, you have the striker that now he can run in behind. So the centre-backs, they cannot go to press. Then Bruno Guimaraes was thinking, I go to press Rodri, or if when he was going to press Rodri, they leave the gaps for the penetrating passes. So then too many things. And the only way, always I talk about the short blanket, no? When you have a top side, it's fine. Your blanket is big. When it's a team that is not so big, the short blanket means that you cover your face and then you have your feet, okay, it's cold. Then you cover your feet and you have your face cold. So this is what happens when you have to do these movements to cover here. Then you can be upset because you concede and you lost. But at the same time, you say, listen, this is another game, so we have to focus in the next one.
So there's going to be no panic from Newcastle for losing here today. Yeah. It was always going to be tough to respond to that disappointing day on Sunday.
No, but it's more concern about you have lost some games or you couldn't win so many games in a row now. But it doesn't matter. So they are doing well. They have the belief. The substitutions, they give you fresh legs, so you have options to bring players from the bench and still keep the intensity. So I think that they are doing well and they will continue doing well.
I think the big thing for Eddie Howe, he's got to look at trying to put the ball in the back of the net. Again, we highlighted before the game about chances, and again today they had big chances today. Callum Wilson had one just in front of the goalkeeper.
All of these chances would have levelled the score.
Yeah, exactly. All at good times, and they just aren't getting the connection right. Not maybe moving their feet, maybe rushing at times, and decision making. That was the one for me. That chance there was a fantastic chance not taken.
Yeah, again, great balls and not all great chances, but chances that you need to score at Etihad. You're not going to get a magnitude of chances, and we've seen that they need to be super efficient when you get them because at this moment in time, defensively they're not as strong. So them two combinations aren't great for your form.
Do you think it was quite even in the middle of the pitch? It was the two boxes that
you can say that because it's decisive in the boxes always. But in regards to Rodri's performance, you look at the touches. I think he had the highest number of touches in the game, and he never looked flustered. In regards to Newcastle, I don't know if they had a spell in regards to the control and the tempo. They always looked like under pressure. We've seen Bruno deep in his own half handball the ball because he's put under pressure, he slips. And as I said, it's a different type of pressure. And I just felt like Manchester City were a lot more comfortable than Newcastle throughout the game.
And Newcastle started really threatening after Eddie Howe made that triple substitution. But then Pep Guardiola made his own substitution, Rafa. Bernardo Silva, just 2 minutes and 10 seconds he was on the pitch before he then punished them.
We were talking about that. He's a very, very good player, so he can make the difference because he's someone that he understands the game. The movements are always very clever. He has the quality to find the passes. Then when you have this kind of player, you make the substitution and he changed everything. As you say, he killed the game with 2-0.
I think the pressure
punished, weren't they?
Yeah, they punished, but they were forced into this, weren't they? The pressure on the ball, 3 players around it. Trippier gives it away.
And then he's obviously having to recover and he's exposed. And as I said, there's a number of Newcastle players there trying to help out, but no one's really doing anything in regards to making an impact. And then it falls to Bernardo Silva. And as I said, we were talking, and could Pope have adjusted his position a slight, because the touch that Bernardo takes for me limits his options and where he can strike the ball. So he can't go back across the goalkeeper. So could he have adjusted himself to go to his left a little bit more?
And you look at Haaland, we all talk about the goals Haaland scores. Today he comes up with an assist, no real impact in the game at all, but comes up with the key pass for the all-important second goal. And so he has contributed in that sense. Was
that him not having his best day, or did Newcastle handle him well up till that lovely assist?
If I'm Man City, I'd look at it. I spoke to Jack Grealish yesterday and he said about we can still give him the ball more. I thought today there was 2 or 3 options in the first half, especially when they get in the pockets. Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne face the game, and he makes beautiful runs and defenders' nightmare runs, but he's not getting the ball at times. Maybe it's not on because we're at a different angle, I'm not sure, but from here it looked like they were on. And I'm sure we'll be having that conversation.
Yeah, but I think early in the season we spoke about Haaland scoring so many goals and saying, well, if you're a defender in the box, just find yourself next to him, because the ball seems to find him, and that's what we're seeing a bit of late, is that defenders are attaching themselves to Haaland because they know at some point the ball will fall to him, but then that leaves Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish, Riyad Mahrez free, and all of a sudden they can contribute as well.
That is, for me, the main thing. So it's not even, if he's not playing well, he still is a threat, because you know that he's the finisher. Then the centre-backs are worried about him, and then that means they have more time on the ball.
He takes up so much attention, doesn't he? Because you just can't switch off from him.
Because you say he has the pace, so he can make the runs. Then he's in this position that the defenders say, I cannot go. They don't go to press between the lines. And if you play with players in the pockets, then someone has to go and press. When you have 5 at the back, you go with 1 centre-back. When you have 4, if you go, you leave a gap. And then he can run into the channels, and he's killing you. So then he keep the defenders committed, the 2 centre-backs. He create the space for the others. We were talking about Bruno Guimaraes going to press Rodri or not. If he goes, this space is for Gundogan or for De Bruyne or whatever. So then just creating a situation that he gave more time on the ball to the winger, 1v1. He controlled the centre-backs, more time in the pockets. And then when you play against Manchester City, they keep the ball and they keep passing the ball. They will find these players.
I think that the big thing as well, that we talk about Haaland's impact on the game, that the 2 goals are probably subconsciously the 2 centre-halves thinking, I can't jump out of my space because Haaland's here. Because both of the goals, the Lascelles on one side could have got up and pushed up or held his ground on the edge of the box. And the first goal, Botman could have gone out to Foden, the goal scorer, a lot quicker. But I think subconsciously they're thinking, where's Haaland, where's Haaland? And that's the impact when you score 33 goals already at this stage of the season.
Doesn't have to do anything to win you a game.
Just has to go out on the pitch.
Just has to be there, absolutely. OK, well, it is just 1 win in 8 now for Newcastle. So let's hear from Eddie Howe with Des.
Eddie, just at the moment, Newcastle were getting some impetus. They scored. It must be very frustrating for you.
Yeah, I thought we were well in the game today. I thought it was a similar performance to last week in many respects, where I thought we were good in the game, very dynamic in our play. We were aggressive, good with the ball, hurt them at times, but couldn't put that final piece together.
Very dynamic after the substitutions that really upped the tempo.
Yeah, that was our plan coming here, really to try and attack and to try and give our all physically, and then give an opportunity to new players coming on the pitch to do the same. Try and keep that high energy. It's difficult for 90 minutes, so we wanted to break that up with the substitutions, and I was pleased with the impact. I think the second goal comes at a bad time for us.
Yeah, you went in at half-time, you're still in touch, but you had opportunities, didn't you? One was blocked, one was missed, so you could have been ahead.
Yeah, it could have been different. There were moments for us today. Probably the one that sticks in my head was Joelinton's chance. I think that was at 1-0. They're big moments, and well, I think when you play games like this, you need to be very clinical with the chances you get, because you're not going to get many. And unfortunately, it didn't happen.
They had that killer instinct. Foden's obviously a handful for any defender today.
Yeah, no, he's in good form, and I think we're disappointed with the first goal. Although you have to say he took it very well. There's certainly stuff for us to reflect on, but minimal chances for them today. I thought we kept them relatively quiet. That the world-class team, they're always going to have opportunities, but I thought we minimised their threat.
You've set high standards for yourselves, so you can put some perspective on this today.
Yeah, I think we have to. I think we've, the general performance has been very good. I think when we came here last year, the result was difficult for us, and you saw a sort of a real gap between the teams. I don't think that's been there this season, although they've still got players that can really make the difference. So there's still growth for us to get closer to Manchester City.
Yeah, still growth to be done, Rafa. How tough is this next part in Newcastle's evolution? Because as Eddie Howe's saying, they've obviously done really well this season, overachieved in many respects, but it's this next part that's going to be the hardest, do you think?
Yeah, I have been in this situation when you go there, you are close to the top sides, and then everybody's expecting, okay, that's fine, so you carry on. But you don't carry on because they continue also investing, they continue improving. So when you are close, it's when you think, especially when you spend a lot of money, you spend millions and, you have to be in the top 4. Yeah, but the others, they are spending also a lot of money and they are already there. So you have to reduce the gap and then you have to spend more money than them and be successful. And don't forget that when you sign players, you sign persons. So you can sign someone, and I have the experience in Liverpool that we signed a striker that was very good. After 6 months, he was not happy, the wife was not happy, you have to sell the player. Then if you spend a lot of money in a top-class player and the player is not happy later on, then you have to change and bring another one. So to reduce the gap with the top sides, that is the most difficult thing. You have to be there, you have to be in Europe to be sure that you have some money, continue investing. And if you don't do that, the others, they continue, so they go fast. It's not that you go, I go very fast. Yeah, but they continue going fast. No, they are not as slow. So this last step, we always talk, I remember Tottenham, the next step. The next step is more difficult because they continue running. So it's not that they stop and you pass them. No. So that is the difficult thing. And then now they have to attract top-class players, put them in the team. And also, we talk about you are bringing 2 or 3 players from the bench. That is fine. But when you have 7 top-class players on the bench, you start having issues in the dressing room. So to manage all these things together, it will be the difficult thing.
Absolutely. Well, we can hear now from Pep Guardiola about that 2-0 victory over Newcastle. He's joined Des.
Pep, the manager is always a genius when he puts on a substitute and he turns the game so quickly, so congratulations. Bernardo, did you send him on with specific instructions?
Bernardo had the ability to help us to make long possessions, or the possessions longer, I would say, because he had the ability to keep the ball and make an extra passes. In that moment, the game was broken. It was better Newcastle and didn't win the game in transitions, and that's why Bernardo was just the idea. But like you said perfectly, like it works, or we won, it's perfect, why did what he did, so we knew.
It's important to react though, because they had thrown on those substitutes. They looked full of energy at that point.
Yeah, the game started, first minutes they were better. We struggled to make a build up. We make some changes during the game, the first half, and after the brilliant action from Phil, we had the game in our hands. We didn't suffer, but the first minutes, the second half was good, but after we lost the game, and Bernardo helped us to come back. But always the threat of them is not a surprise. The reason why final the Carabao Cup, like in many minutes they were better than United and the position that they are all the season. So this team, this club in the next years will be a real threat to fight for the titles.
And we're talking about Phil Foden again. That shows the form that he's in. He drives at defenders, puts them under
his
pressure.
Commitment without the ball, both him and Jack, and of course it was a deflection goal, but he was aggressive to go in there. Like in this season we missed a little bit, and now with what we need to feel. So it doesn't matter what happened in this type of position. That's part of the goal. You have to be aggressive like he was in the goal.
You don't like picking out players necessarily, but the spine of the side, Ruben Dias and Rodri, they just keep you in a perfect position.
And Manu as well, yeah. All three were brilliant, and Nathan again, and Kyle. So the reality that our back four was brilliant because against topside, defend well the duels, defend bend, block the shots, and many things they were there. So yeah. So against this side you have to suffer because all the teams suffer against them with the set pieces, with everything. Is a fantastic, exceptional team.
The gap has closed, so you have to go again.
No, before the game it was
Bye,
and now we are hello. So many things is going to happen, but it's important. It was an important game. And tomorrow we are going to sit in front of TV to watch Anfield. So this is what you have to do.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
See you.
Yes, I'm sure Arsenal know that Manchester City are right there, just 2 points ahead of their game against Bournemouth. He clearly felt a bit frustrated and concerned in that second half that they were losing control of that game, Jolien, and he needed Bernardo Silva to come on and regain control.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of times victories or defeats he's frustrated with the performance, but I think he's recognised that of late it's been closer. I think if you reference the Nottingham Forest game, they created a number of chances that they should have converted and they didn't, and then they ended up dropping points there. So that would be the back of his mind, and then he recognised what the game needed, and that was Bernardo Silva to prolong the possessions, but also put players under pressure, which he did with Pope, force that missed kick, and then all of a sudden he finds himself in a position to convert a chance. So Pep's a specialist at recognising what the game needs, and obviously he's seen that he was Bernardo Silva today.
Congratulations, Jolien. We've run out of time, I'm afraid. Rafa, thank you. It's been lovely.